Yeah, I'm already now.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
do
All
this.
right, so we're gonna. Okay, I'm definitely going to be hitting record also. So I'm gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Negus' Corner. I hope you guys are having a great day, weekend, whatever it is. Right now, I have a great cast of people with me to talk about bridging the gap in Splatoon community. If you guys don't know, competitive and let's just say the casual scene has not really meshed the best. And we're kind of trying to find answers about how we can get the two to come together, basically, or how we can get the competitive scene to appeal to the casual scene. And today with me, I have Vicvillon, ProChara, and Chase247. So if you guys can please, we're gonna start with Vic. If you would like to introduce yourself, if you please can.
Hi, I'm Vic. I'm Victoria Vion. I do the funnies.
Vion, oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I do the silly funnies. I started out my YouTube with the intention of being 100% competitive, and that worked until I was like, hey, what if I try to do a little bit of both? And that worked even better. So I have a little bit of perspective on trying to entertain both sides, which I hope you'll enjoy. I do everything from years ago making guides that were probably at a Div 5 level, oops, to now making more comedy than anything else. But I'd like to do a bit more of both again.
All right, ProChara. Chara.
Hi, I'm Chara. I mostly focus on competitive Splatoon. I play for a team called Climb, and in the last 2 months I started really going for content creation on my YouTube channel. So I've been focused on trying to get out more competitive content into the community over the past two or so months.
All right, cool. And Chase247.
Hey guys, I'm Chase, and I'm a relatively new Splatoon content creator. I specialize mainly in the dually weapon class, and I upload competitive content as well as informational videos about the game. So yeah.
Yo. Also, if you didn't know, Chase does do my thumbnails, so I'm telling you, he needs to get the Fiverr up or whatever it is, and let people know that his thumbnails are dope, man. If you want to go that super esport direction, definitely hit him up. Man, you gotta do a better job at this, man. You gotta do a better job. Come on, man. You gotta promote yourself a lot better. Come on, man. We're talking about dualies, bro. Let me just tell you.
I opened paint.net. I hit the glow button. I hope it looks nice.
let me just tell you guys something about Chase right now. Chase's stuff is not just normal. He just may say I'm a dually main and this, that, and the other. Chase's content is really good. You guys should definitely go check out his YouTube channel. He puts a lot of effort into little edits and just even the music that he chooses for his channel. So please go check him out. Sell yourself more, man. Come on. Sell yourself a little bit more. But one of the things that I was gonna bring up is about the fact that if you've noticed casual Splatoon, especially from the start of 2017 till now, you'll notice that there was an explosion of casual competitive, casual Splatoon, just the YouTubers in general, from Jmoji, Octoboy, Etice, and who we have here today, Vic. And one of the big things that I was noticing is the fact that you don't see the same thing on the other side for competitive. Dude's been there since Splatoon 1, obviously. And then the question I kind of want to ask you guys, why do you think casual Splatoon has grown so much? So if you want to start off, Chara, you can.
Well, I mean, I think I have a few points for this, but I think first and the most obvious one is there's more of them and they focus on content more consistently. Competitive content creators really have one person who's big and uploads consistently, which is Dude. Wadsm gets out good content and is also a big channel, but Wadsm's uploads are much less frequent. Not that that's a bad thing, but just in terms of the amount of competitive content getting out there on a large scale compared to casual content is 10 to 9. It's minuscule by comparison. And then the second thing I'd say, from my experience watching the casual community in terms of YouTubers, they're really good at collabing and working together.
I was gonna say that also.
Half of the time I see a video and that's a casual content creator, because I follow pretty much all of them, they're working with each other. Octoboy has a whole Splatoon cinematic universe, and I think that's first of all, I think that's an excellent idea because it's just a great way to help promote each other and just spread your fan bases amongst everyone, which means you just have a higher chance to grow. So
we all grow together.
I think there is definitely arguments for okay, maybe casual content is more appealing, which, yeah, you could make that argument, and it probably is. But I would say the much larger points are just there are less content out there for competitive by a massive margin. 90-10 is probably like an underestimate. There's like probably 99 to 1 in terms of casual content on a large scale compared to
I agree
competitive.
with you.
So,
True.
I mean, I think the debate here can go into competitive content isn't as appealing, but my point is I don't think that should even be like a big arguable point,
Statement,
because the main
yeah.
thing is just there isn't competitive content out there on a large scale.
Yeah.
There just isn't.
Okay, all right, Vic, you're one of these people that I said. So can you please give an insight on this? Oh
Now,
man.
I'll say I didn't really start doing stuff very consistently until 2018. And
Okay.
ironically, in 2017, I got my capture card with the intention of like getting better at the game, because I had been like on the cusp of joining a competitive team, and I like wanted to make sure I could hold S+ when I actually joined a team, because I was scared of like joining a team and like losing my S+, and oh no, I was gonna be judged for not being able to keep that illustrious rank in the Splatoon 1 days. Because it was, you know, it was a big deal, man. But,
Yeah,
like,
it was.
I wanted to get better at the game, but I didn't have much time to do that because I was also like working on getting into graduate school at the time. So for me, it was more oh, okay, why don't I upload a few videos every once in a while with some captions explaining how I feel about how I'm playing, and people can kind of learn from what I have to say. That didn't really go anywhere because I didn't really use my voice in my content. I didn't even keep to the captions. I was more or less just uploading chunks of footage. So, you know, there wasn't really much for the YouTube algorithm to hook its claws into, so to speak.
Okay.
I would say part of what keeps casuals around on a channel is like a good level of interactivity. Now, I know that my audience is younger, and I will take advantage of like jump cuts and stuff to, you know, keep their eyes on the video for a while longer. But
Wow.
like, you have to, you do have to have the personality to keep with it. And like, if you have a good personality, you don't have to do that. Like Chara, I know you put a lot of like images in your video to like go with your points, and I love listening to your content. I think it's great. Like,
Yeah.
and the thing is, if you can get people to watch for a longer period of time in today's day and age, YouTube sees that. That will help you to grow. It's good for the algorithm if people stick around. You do what you have to.
Okay.
I guess just to real
Chase.
quick bring up, since like
Go ahead,
Vic
go ahead.
mentioned the age thing, I actually have looked into my own demographics as well, and the majority of people who watch my content, like I think around 60%, are like 18 to 30. I have like around 20%
Nice.
of people who are under the age of 18. So for my content, like that is sort of what I appealed. I was like, okay, who are my viewer base, and if so, do I want to appeal for that? So I was like, okay, I can stick to more. I can be like more fine with my mature like tone and stuff, and not having too many like cutting too much, because I'm someone who kind of prefers to keep things like focused with relatively little cut. So it's like I can make sure my audience like has that. So
Has it.
and then
Also getting
the
content out of
interaction
it
is
quicker,
like
too.
yeah, I try to respond to comments and talk to people a lot, because part of me is just I talk a lot, which is good for YouTube.
Definitely.
Oh no, they love that.
All right,
The polls.
So Chase, I just want to see what you think also.
So I can't speak too much on the whole like casual side because I haven't actually watched that much casual Splatoon content. But from what I've seen, I think the reason that it exploded so much is just kind of like the lore of Splatoon. Like Splatoon is very like, you know, kind of cutesy kind of game. Just
Yeah.
you know, I don't know the exact word, but yeah, I guess just like the lore of it. So I think that when someone who's just like, you know, browsing YouTube, checking out videos, and they see Splatoon, they're like, oh, this looks cool. And then they see like, you know, the casual competitive Splatoon YouTubers, they get more addicted to that. But whereas when you get to competitive Splatoon, that's not as easy to kind of like, you know, share with people, you know, like it's hard to get into that a little more. So I think it's just kind of a engagement thing. Like it's way easier to get into the casual side of it compared to the competitive side. And as all of you guys said, there's way more casual content as well.
Really? Oh, you know, the funny thing is for me, like, I don't know how much you guys paid attention to Splatoon 1. I just felt like there were so much more, like a lot more Splatoon 1, like competitive, like content creators. I don't know if it's
Actually,
true.
yeah.
I know.
No,
I don't
you're
know if
correct.
There
On
are
But,
Twitch
like-
too.
there are
Who?
two channels that I think you're referring to, which is Squids Next Door and Squid
Yes.
Kids. Those
Squid
two
Kids,
don't
yes.
exist
No.
anymore. That's
Yes.
probably what you're feeling.
Well, even Nintendo was another.
Yeah,
which
that
was
too. Shit.
one of the
3.
bigger ones. You had Dude also, and I think that's about really it. But I'm just saying, even just in general for like the Splatoon scene, like you had at least those people to look to necessarily. Like they would like be obviously it became Rocket doing it after a while. And of course, as I said, dude, so you had other channels, but I feel like when you came into it, like everybody started looking towards Twitch, especially for the competitive scene. Like Twitch is really where the competitive scene is, just in general. So I don't know if it had to do with the fact that everybody was like, especially with competitive gaming in general, it's really on Twitch. So and if you look at other scenes, I will say this, that a lot of competitive gaming in general is a little bit lazy. I'm not saying that like it's every single one. Like if you look at other scenes, they really just like highlights and that's really it. And maybe like, yeah, you too can be good while I just show you some of my gameplay and that's really it. So I don't know if it was really just the hype of like jumping over to Twitch, what got people to like, stay over here. But so just going on to the next part of it, I was really looking at the fact that, you look at possibly the bigger content creators for, competitive. You have Dude, Wadsm, and they're really kind of only the people that, I guess, in my opinion, that jumped super far with like subs on YouTube and like garnering like a big community. And I noticed that was mostly because of the fact that, for me, in my opinion, I feel like Dude does a great job and Wadsm does a great job of appealing to the casual side of Splatoon.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
absolutely, you have to.
And I was gonna ask you guys, what are the aspects that you look at in those two channels that you're like, yo, they really do a great job of appealing to people in like both realms?
It just kind of like, in my opinion, like the way that they're like titling their videos and their thumbnails and stuff. Like I've learned like from my channel, because I've made some videos that like, not exactly too appealing. I thought it was at the time, but when I look back, not as much. But then I look at their videos, Dude has like the whole Tearing It Up series, and then he has like, I think that especially does a great job of just like bringing in like the casual viewer and stuff.
Chara?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is just titles and stuff, which are very good. I think the content is great as well, but I think what Dude and Wadsm have kind of perfected is like having like the ability to draw people in from anywhere in the Splatoon community to get interested in whatever kind of video they have. Like Wadsm, I think, is a like really good example because he has two very different kinds of content, which is guide, competitive focused, and like casual meme like type videos.
Yes, he does.
Stuff like that. And both of them are still really good at trying to appeal to everyone, even though one is more for casuals and one is way more for competitive players. Both still really appeal for like anyone to watch, and just part of why Wadsm, I think, does so well is because he's known for having some of the best content for competitive and casual. So he really successfully appeals to both sides with whatever videos he does. Dude, I think, just does that on like a smaller scale in terms of like overall appeal, but much more frequent videos. Like he can get stuff out way more frequently than Wadsm can, just because, and I mean, that's not like a shot at either YouTuber, that's just the difference in their styles of content. One is more focused on smaller like schedule uploads, and one's focused on more frequent uploads. And both of them like have perfected how they want to draw in viewers, and both of them clearly are doing it well, considering both are like above 50k subs, or Wadsm's about to hit 50k.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go. They know how to do what types of content they do. So they're just really good at that, in my opinion.
All right, Vic.
I think I was about to be like, I was gonna talk about how, Wadsm has those list style videos. Those are the ones that pull in casuals. Like just to like to bounce off of what you're saying, it really is. If you can convince somebody to watch a channel, then they're more likely to watch your other stuff. Like, let's say you have a video that does really well, like randomly. It's just one video that gets popped up by the algorithm. You have an entire new set of like eyes that are all suddenly going to be looking at your content. If you have good content as your backlog already, even if it wasn't discovered previously, the way that internet culture kind of works these days is that they're going to want to see what else you have probably before they like choose to stick around or not, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if I find Wadsm's, funny Rickroll video in my recommendations, which still comes up in my recommendations sometimes,
Yes,
I
it
might
does.
watch it and be like, wow, man, that's pretty funny. And then I open up his channel and I see like this entire wall of just content here. I'm probably gonna be impressed and I'm probably gonna subscribe. I think that's why it's important for people to not like stop just because they don't have any momentum now, because you never know how that will change. I've
Definitely.
like partly
Definitely,
because of like, I guess the Christmas rush plus Splatoon 3, my channel has personally exploded by about a third, in the last 3 months, and I've been doing YouTube for almost 4 years. So that doesn't make sense to me, but
Yeah.
it's because the algorithm works in weird ways.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Part of the reason I started on competitive content sooner, even without a Splat 3 announcement or stuff, was okay, when I do Splat 3 content and stuff does blow up, which is what's happened with a few of my videos, I want people to see content before that's higher quality than what I have now, which is exactly what happened. So yeah, absolutely, that catalog backlog idea is 100% true.
You've done it so well.
I mean, I'm definitely not as big as you guys, so I can't speak on the scale that you're speaking, but I do have one example, because I just uploaded a video recently where I was talking about how dualies aren't optimal, and that actually did pretty well for me. Not anywhere near what the views your guys' videos gets, but it did pretty well. It got 4,000 views, and then I looked back.
That's a great number. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's good.
Dude, come on, stop selling yourself short. I told you from the beginning.
Okay. And then after that video, I just decided to look back at the rest of the videos on my channel, and then I'm realizing a lot of them are getting a lot of more views now. So I'm just oh wow, one video really can boost up your entire channel.
Yeah.
So yeah, just similar thing to you guys, what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just gonna say, I know that it's probably just I feel like, especially for Splatoon content, there's a lot of people that they look at, and that's the general thing that happens to a lot of people when it comes to content creation. They don't realize how long it takes to actually grow, whether you're on Twitch or you're on YouTube. And a lot of people don't realize that, especially, I would say that, Vic, all of you guys, in all honesty, you guys have longevity with your content. So a lot of people will look back and they'll be like, oh wow, this is something that was kind of crazy. I didn't realize that this was what Splatoon 2 was like, or Vic, your commercials, say for instance, those are always going to do well.
They're evergreen. That's what's important.
Yeah, so even the same thing for Chara, your tournaments, people looking back through that and being like, oh wow, I didn't realize that this happened, or oh wow, I didn't realize this is what went down with Brella and why he doesn't play Brella anymore. So it's same thing, what you did with your dually video. It's always something to look back at and why it happened or how it happened in the past. So it's a lot of people don't realize how long it takes to grow. And it's not something that happens overnight. And I know a lot of people think it happens overnight, and they don't realize that it's something that's a prolonged period of time. So you have to just kind of chill out and relax a little bit. I remember when, watching Dude's videos, I remember when watching his, I think it was 5,000 subscriber video, or 10,000 subscriber videos and stuff like that. We used to do all those crazy montages, and it took time. Obviously it took next games coming out and stuff like that. A lot of things take time. It doesn't just happen out of nowhere. So my next question is actually, what seems to be the issue? Issue. Is it a lack of content? From the competitive side, do you look and you're wow, this guy could really be doing content, but they just, or girl, and they just don't. So I just want to see your guys' side from that. What is it?
Okay, I could probably ramble about this for a bit, because I want to talk a bit about
the point of this?
My own channel, because my channel, just to kind of give some stats, in the last month, I gained 1.7k subscribers. I had around 175,000, 100,000 channel views.
Nice.
My channel has been super successful, but one thing to note is that out of that entire recent 2 months where I've gained around 2k subs total, out of that time, I think I have uploaded maybe 5-6 videos that are intended to appeal to casuals. Everything else is explicitly here's a competitive discussion about the meta, here's a tier list, here's a tournament VOD, here's a scrim. Everything else is sort of there, and then even the casual content that I do have, a great example I'd love to talk about is my Splatoon 3 specials video, where I basically gave ideas for a bunch of Splat 3 specials. My casual videos are secretly also competitive videos, so that entire video, I just slowly push in the concept of good special design. I just bring it up every little bit when I talk about different specials and why I chose them. So in reality, while I'm doing that vid for content to appeal to casuals, my secondary point is actually to go, hey, I actually want to talk about special design in Splatoon in a competitive way, and try to get that interest across. And despite my content being almost exclusively competitive appealing, I'm getting a ton of people subbing still for the type of channel size that I'm at, and a lot of it is still people who are I have never heard of comp existed, or I want to get into comp how I do it. I've gotten so many comments like that, that I now have the Academy server link in the description of every single video I do, because on most of them I have a comment on someone saying, hey, how do I get into this? So, personally, I'm on the field that there's totally a bunch of people who could do well in content that don't. And I think Chase is a good example, because Chase just started doing comp content and is really fucking good at it and is growing as a channel, like, larger and larger. There are totally more people like this. I rip Akio all the time for making videos. Like, you've probably seen it on Twitter. I've been like, hey, now put it on YouTube.
Yeah. Let me just tell you something.
Why the fuck is he not doing that?
Let me tell you something. I don't think Kyo realizes that the like landmine that he has, or like the gold pot of gold in his hand that he has, literally he just has to upload. He doesn't even have to think about it. Just upload it.
And then I see
doesn't Kyo get like 100 viewers on Twitch every time he streams?
Yes. And I see +2 people say the same thing. They're like, oh, I'm +2. I'm not very good at the game. And I'm like, you're like the top 500 people in the Western scene. Yes, go talk about how good you are. Don't, like, you do not need to be like a tippy top player to be able to post guide content.
No.
So I see that it's like, dude, just go. Like, just do it.
The highest I've been is Div 3, and people think I'm good at the game. So, like, they're good at the game too. Like, people don't realize that even being in the competitive scene pretty much means that you're in, like, probably like the top, like, 5% at least of people who play this game. People will listen if you say words. They want to learn and grow.
Yeah, so I mean, of course, I don't know how far, like, a 99%, or not 90, let's say my channel, like a 90% competitive focused content will grow in the long run. Like, right now it's growing a lot. I have no idea how well it'll go, because there's not too much data out there. But from my experience so far, it totally works, and I think the main thing is other people just need to start getting shit out there. And I'm gonna be honest, for people doing it, the first month or so might suck, especially if you're a brand new channel. Like, I had the luxury of, or not luxury, I guess it's still my content, but I have uploaded semi-frequently onto YouTube for the past 5 years. So I have some bit of a base. Like, I started with around 300 views on every video, and now I'm at around 2,000 to 3,000 on most of my videos. So it's like, I still had a base that got me started. So building that base is still gonna be hard. So, like, maybe the first few months you're not going to get too many views on your videos, but you're going to start growing an audience, and then eventually something will blow up, especially with something like a Splat 3 announcement. Get content out there. Just get stuff out there.
No, you're missing a huge gap about this. Let me just tell you something right now, all right? I am a person that, like, obviously putting in the work, I can hit, like, maybe 2,500. I can, like, you know, infrequently, like, I can get up to top 500. Done it a couple of times, few times actually. Understand something. If I was one of you freaks that decided to, like, just be amazing at gaming, that don't seem to understand that if you make, let's just say, let's be kind, top 5 runs in a tournament, if you are able to make it in top 5, top 1, you know, like, there are, I think Fuzzy's channel, literally, he just literally put his tournament highlights up there, and you get views. People want to see the best players. People want to see people that are good. So if you literally just hit record while you are playing, people will watch it. You get top 500 every single month. Oh, wow, I got top 2. Look at how easy this was. 1,000 views. Oh, wow. Now everybody knows who I am. Now people sub. Now people even follow me on Twitter. I'm sorry. There's a lot of people that can have so much more, and it can be so much easier for them. But I don't know. It's just weird because, like, you look at, like, say, for instance, I remember when Kaiji used to post a lot. That's exactly what they used to do. Kibber literally does that right now, and he gets views for it. So there are a lot of players that could do that easily, Kyo, and they would get a lot of views, in my opinion. But sorry, Chase, I don't know if you wanted to say something. I apologize.
All I wanted to say is just one thing I want to point out is that just think in the mind of maybe someone who's not like a top level player, but more like a mid-level player, kind of like me. It's something we need to keep in mind is one thing I want to keep, or sorry, I just said that. I'm getting started. But one thing that we should know is that there's people who, yeah, as I said, like me, who are more mid-level, and then there might be a thing where they're kind of maybe a little scared to put out like tutorial content because they're a bit nervous about what people who are better than them would think about like kind of tutorial content. Because that's kind of me at one point.
Yeah.
I was scared to put out like guide videos because I was thinking like, okay, what if someone who's a more top level player sees this and like, oh, this is trash, like this is completely wrong information. Like that's something that people might be a little scared of. That might just be me because I'm a bit of a self-conscious person, but that was definitely like a fear that I had of putting out like, you know, like tutorial kind of content.
Yeah.
Let me just say something. It's not for them. The people that are complaining about your content, trust me, there are people that even complain about Dude's content. He could probably tell you in the chat if he was there right now. But let me just say this. One thing you need to know, as long as you are not saying something that's absolutely wrong, and like, yo, there are people that you can go ask them. Like, if you like, I think it was, again, Fuzzy said in one of his tweets, there are people that hit him up all the time. You can go ask Kipper in his chat about something that you might have a question about, and literally just do good journalism, I guess, about the topic that you want to hit. There are so many video ideas that like a lot of people come into my chat every day and say, hey, I'm not sure about substrafing. What's the jump tech for CDS? And I'm like, seriously? Like, and you'll type it in and you can barely find it. And I think Dude is the only person that has a video about the jump tech. And that's literally it. There's nobody else. People have no idea what substrafing is. And again, I think that's literally only a Dude video. And there is no actual information on, like, say for instance, how Clamblitz works, which would be a great video. Kipper's one was like, yo, nobody did a video on the paths for Rainmaker. He did it. Great video. More people can do it. Make it interesting. So people can stop taking the Rainmaker left on Piranha Pit.
I just want to briefly address like what you said earlier about my comments, Negus. And it's like, if you're like not a top player, it's harder to grow. I'm not trying to deny that or anything. But I'm saying it's more like a lot of people will care about YouTubers based on their identity and their brand, regardless of like skill and stuff. So while it's hard, it's like some people might just find like maybe you're top 500 and not top 2, but maybe people really appreciate you for like, maybe it's the weapon you play, maybe it's how you talk about the game. And when I started Splatoon 1 content, that kind of was my appeal. Even though most of it was shit, I kind of just had a very like, I will talk about the game however I want, like, kind of thing. And it got some opinions and got people interested. Despite the fact that I was a Div Z player, I still had like around 1,000. Yeah, I still had like, I don't remember if it was somewhere between 500 to 1,000 subs toward the end of Splatoon 1 before I even became what I would even consider a decent player. Because I still had some content that talked about it and built a personality. So maybe, like, if you're not the best, you can still try to just, like, be yourself in your videos and see if, like, you might find a way to build something off that. Because maybe some people will really appreciate the way you talk about stuff. Like, Negus, I can even use you for an example. Your recent video on the game audio, that intro and how you led into it was super unique, and I loved it. Like, it's such a good way to get people into it. I'm just like, I clicked this video, and then all of a sudden there's ASMR, and I'm like, hold on, what's going on?
I think I have to go and look
and then I'm like, wait! And then I'm like, wait, the Recon doesn't have game audio, duh. How do I not know this? I use Recon all the time, and I'm like, wow, this is better. Like, that unique, I have never seen anyone introduce a Splatoon video like that. And that's part of why I really like some of your content, is because it feels different. So it's like, I know it's not the easiest example because it's kind of hard to talk about it, but it's like, there's something that like is appealing about you without anything else even needing to be there, because I would probably never find an opening like that in any other video. And then after that, it genuinely explains and talks about the topic in a thorough way. It's really, really good. I think that's one of your best videos.
Wow, I appreciate that. Seriously. So just one thing I did want to say, the people in Splatoon 1, again, if you're afraid of, you know, I am only at a certain rank, I don't think I'm good enough. Again, we have Vic here who has really grown on her platform. Like, you know, again, Squid Kids, Michelle. I don't think that she was a super competitive player, but literally just explaining the modes, having great artwork, explaining how the game works. People can do that. You don't have to be the greatest player to do that. You don't have to be number 1. You don't even have to be number 10. You just have to literally just explain it in a thorough way, and people will watch. And also, if you can draw, that kind of does add, like, you know.
Definitely.
I mean,
what's that guy's name? Is it Poofu? Sorry, go ahead.
Poofu, yeah.
Poofu. Yeah. Go ahead, Vic. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
Oh no, just as your funky like 2400 X power like comp dropout here. I played for 3 years. I'm currently on break because just balancing my job and my content just was you hear the circus music playing in the background as I scrimmed 4 nights a week, played in maybe 1 tournament every other week because I couldn't fit them in, and then worked every day and streamed almost every day. And I was like, there's something wrong here. But like the way that I made my guides prior to that was I would hang out with my team in League, playing a weapon that I didn't know too well. I would get like a League rotation of footage with that weapon in every mode. And then I would summarize how I felt about the weapon from my own experiences into a guide that I'd share with others. I would literally brand it as like, this is a guide for like beginning players. This is not for like, high level competitive. Please, take my words with a grain of salt, but I hope it's able to help you if you're learning. And to this day, I still get comments from beginning players that say like, hey, I know you don't make these anymore, but they helped me out to help me understand. And that makes me feel good, feel smiley face. And like sometimes I get the opposite. I have people that come into my chat and ask, hey, do you know of insert competitive player here? Like Chara. I've actually gotten like 2 or 3 people in like the last couple weeks in my chat being like, do you know who Chara is? I'm like, yeah, he's cool. Go watch his content. And then I'll shill your channel.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
that's great.
Wow.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Your name is getting around.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yo,
I know I
okay.
kind of like subverted the topic, but
No, you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry. So that leads into the question, because the lack of content kind of makes it seem that for some people, do the majority of casuals not care about competitive? I'm pretty sure I know the answer of that. What do you guys think?
they like to watch, but they don't know how to actually do it at all. That's the sad thing. I know so many people that want to get better at the game, and I've had the honor of like through PBs that I've done for years. Like I've seen so many people improve, and some of them go off to play in teams. Like I don't know if you guys know you guys know like Avalanche? They're our staff team.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm friends with all those people on Avalanche. They've been in my community for like a long time. Like I wouldn't say they were always casuals because they always were like super like higher end casuals. But I would argue that all not kids, because Kalik's definitely not a kid, but like all the people in Avalanche are definitely better than I am. And I remember when I was probably on the same level as them. It's great to watch people get better. Sometimes people just need some time to do that.
Yeah.
It's all about accepting them.
Yeah.
I agree. Char?
I don't really have anything to add to that. Honestly, I think that was perfect.
All right, that was perfect then. So we'll leave it at that. So just in question then, is the content not up to par? Is that it? Like, is that it for competitive? Is the content not up to par? Like, are we just not at the same like rate as all these great other like YouTubers that are out there from like Jmoji, Octoboy, Etice, and just even say for instance Vic.
Yeah, I think for there's some certain people, we were already hinting at this earlier, who kind of just upload like the tournament highlights, and that's kind of it. And then unless you already have a following, I don't think that's necessarily enough to get a viewing off of that. I'm not trying to sound like mean when I'm saying that, but I'm just being honest. I don't think that's enough.
I think recently, there's been a bunch of people talking about the content revolution stuff because there's a bunch more people putting out content, a lot of which I've been pestering to upload, but regardless, I think we're starting to get the content out there. I think it could absolutely still be better, but right now I think we're starting to get it out there, and it just is going to need time to grow because comp content now is many times more than it was even a few months ago, but it still needs a lot of time for these comp creators to get established, to grow, to set up. So it's even though we're starting to get content out there, it's still going to take time for people to improve at making content, to get better at making content to more frequently and grow their bases. So right now it's more, I feel more people should start doing content, but more importantly, the people who do content just need to keep going and keep growing their channels. And I see it everywhere. The people are consistently uploading, like you three. So the more, I think it's more just, it's improved. We are now starting to put out content. Now let's keep putting out content. We got through step one, which is get comp content on YouTube. We are starting to do that. Now we get more of it, get it higher quality, start growing actual bases, because every YouTuber is going to take a while to get out there, and I think now is the time where we can actually start getting out there, especially with the Splat 3 announcements, because I'm telling you that next Splat 3 trailer, there's going to be a bunch of more people searching the game. So if we have now 15 competitive content creators and they're all making Splat 3 videos, and then people start checking out their channels, just there's a huge influx of people who are now able to check out competitive content. We need to be ready for when that next trailer drops, probably E3 or something, because that's when there's going to be an influx of people, and they're going to want to see what content you have on your channel. If you have one video, do you have one video? Do you have 20? Do you consistently upload? Like, what's your quality? People are going to start to check that stuff out as soon as that's announced. So I think right now is the perfect time for us to just start growing and start getting your channel ready. Just focus on growing channels, and then when the announcement hits, you're going to be ready for huge growth.
Yeah. And then also for people who do want to get into it, but like they don't know how to edit videos or anything, if you are interested, the time is definitely to start now and start learning how to edit. So as Chara said, when that next trailer comes around, you're ready and then you're able to upload videos and stuff.
And you don't have to make your videos pretty. I don't really make my videos very pretty. I rely.
I'd just say to trim them.
No, go ahead. No, I have the ugliest videos here.
Oh.
I have the ugliest videos here. Okay. I don't know how to edit, and probably barely will ever. But keep going, Vic. Sorry.
It takes time. You don't have to have your videos be pretty. Like I think, Chara, what you were saying about waiting for the next boom. Like, we have velocity on our side right now, which is great. And the same thing happened in the summer of 2018. That was the Splatoon 2 boom. That's when Octo Expansion hit. That's when, like, a bunch of content creators really doubled down, because we got confirmation from Nintendo that they cared, that they were caring a lot about this game, that they wanted to see it succeed. And when people started doubling down and making more and more immersive content, like, you're right, more people were watching, and that tells YouTube, hey, recommend Splatoon stuff to more people. This game is one that people want to watch. And if the larger content creators do well, it's going to trickle down onto everyone else. Like, seeing more people making content from the top all the way to the bottom is beneficial to everybody.
Yeah, that Octo expansion thing, just to talk about that boom, I missed out on that boom. I do not have a single Octo expansion video on my channel, I'm pretty sure. I did not care or pay attention to it, and I missed out on that. My channel would probably be a lot larger if I did, so don't miss out on those opportunities if you see it. Like, Splat 3, I was like, I recorded reactions to the gameplay trailer just kind of, like, in the background. I didn't expect Splat 3, but I was like, you know what? If the reaction comes out, might as well record it, right? That video is 10,000 views because I happened to hit record that one time when I was debating it. That's like the third or fourth most popular video on my channel, and it's all because I was like, you know what, fuck it, just in case, let's hit record here. And reactions do really well.
Streaming, right?
Yeah. I was just recording it in the background. I was just like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And I wasn't expecting Splat 3 to be announced. I wasn't prepared. Like, I did a 20 things to Splat 3 and specials video, but I did not have anything prepared to do Splat 3 content because I 100% did not expect it to even happen. But I'm so glad I got on it and just immediately got videos out there because it was so worth it to actually get on that content grind when I did.
Would you believe me if I told you that if you made Octo expansion content right now, it would do better than most of your videos?
Probably would, yeah, it would.
Because I've done that. I made a funny clip montage of like an Octo expansion stream, and it outperformed most of my content that I had made in the last like year. I was like, oh, okay, I see how it is. So trust me, if you stick on the thing that a lot of people already like, it'll do better, at least a little bit.
If you did a lore page on it, it probably would even do crazy.
It's just the funny little algorithm things.
Yeah.
The best way to grow your channel, I feel like sometimes, is to go back and forth between what you know will do well, or what should do well, let's say, because not everything that should do well does well, and sometimes things that shouldn't do well based on your past performance do well. You go back and forth between what normally would do well and what normally might not do as well. That's so you can kind of try to push your audience to various things. Like, funny highlight gets good views, but hey, these are my Splatoon 3 thoughts, will probably get more views. But when you put out the funny Splatoon 3 video, then people are like, what did they else make recently? And oh, they find your funny highlights video.
Yep. I agree with you 110%. So there was a comment about this, and thank you, Chara, for bringing that back up. So what do you guys think about the fact that the Splatoon competitive Splatoon content is 2 out of 10? 2 out of 10. That's kind of harsh, isn't it?
At the time it was said, I think it was 100% accurate, and it encouraged me to get off my ass and start putting content on my own. So thank you. Great
Okay.
comment. I'm glad it helped encourage me and other people to do content. Because it's 100% accurate. That rating could not have been... Honestly, it could have been a 1. But... a 1 or a 2 would have been accurate. I wouldn't have rated it personally higher than a 2 myself.
Okay.
What about now? What do you guys think it is now after the small content uprising that's been happening? Would it still be a 2?
6.
Oh, definitely we still need more, but would it be like a 3 or a 4 now?
I'd
or is it still a 2?
rate it a 6. Maybe that's because I know a lot more content creation and watch a lot of it, but I think a lot of the stuff that's out there is good, like Shockwave's guides. Shinx had the $100 charger and hide-and-seek tournaments that have done well.
Okay.
Hymnos has his 3000 XP tournament match. Bagel's putting out some gameplay videos with Blob that have gotten some attention. Like, I think it's a 6 out of 10 right now. I think there could be more of it. I think it could be a bit higher quality. But I think it's definitely a positive side rather than a negative side now. It's just that these channels have to grow.
Okay. Vic?
I don't know if I'd give it a 6 just yet, because it's not getting onto my feed.
I see what you mean.
And like I feel like it needs, I hate to say the Splatoon casual mainstream, but like if it can't consistently get over there yet, then it's not getting to enough eyes. Which sucks.
I agree with you.
Like, you know, we need and that takes time, which is what will happen. Luckily, we have so much time between when Splatoon 3 got announced to when the game will actually come out, and this is like the key time for people to just grow. I wouldn't give it like a 2 still. Probably more like a 4 or 5. Probably more comfy. There's been so much more effort that has been put in it. It's really great to see.
Yeah.
Like
It really is.
I don't know why I said like I don't have more to say actually on that.
So right now, I agree with Vic. I would give it around a 4, but I definitely think with Splatoon 3 and all that, I think within a year's time, we could definitely get it up to like an 8 or a 9. Because I think the hype for Splatoon is higher than ever right now, from what I've been seeing at least. And then if we keep up with all this content creation, I definitely think we could get it to like an 8 or a 9. But around when Splatoon 3 comes out.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so I just wanted to make sure you guys know that comment was from that SRB2 dude. So I asked dude because I was like, I don't want to take his comment out of context. So people just are like, oh, why is he saying that? That's throwing. But dude is saying this from a place of, in my opinion, of just like love, in all honesty, for the community, and kind of just trying to get people to really get off their asses and like kind of move a little bit more. He's been saying for a while, you know, his whole thing, content. So I do have his comments. So I just wanted to read off exactly what he said. Basically, the lack of competitive discussion, opinion on meta, and sheer lack of resources on how to become better at a competitive Splatoon in a video format is something the comp scene has not had a lot from in the past few games. The ways of bridging the gap is you have to make content on both sides. This is honestly why even today, top teams today almost have very little following, because they aren't using platforms such as YouTube enough in order to have people want to follow what they do. You see that's very true, by the way. You see this very much, especially in low tournament viewership, as there are no fans to follow the work of what players actually do beside the hardcore competitive community, which usually are the only viewers watching. And he said this is why he gave it a 2 out of 10. So he also said bridging the gap between casual and comp is easier than people may think, because all you have to do is come up with content that is not only marketed towards competitive people only. This could include a simple guide, something funny, skits, something wild that happened, something really fun to do, and why others should try to do it, and etc. If you're able to make content like that, along with letting people know you play competitive and also upload competitive content, to then bridging the gap almost is seamless. If I myself is not an example of doing this really well, Wadsm also is a great example. So I just wanted to let you guys know, I'm sorry to say, like, just from a marketing standpoint, dude has been, every team that dude has been a part of also has done really well with viewership. If you look at like Team Olive and who was on that team, Soren, what was it, Brian Sendow,
Sendow's Burger,
Urza, and a lot of others. Like, if you look at that team, a lot of people have like a very like they're pulled to that team, obviously. One of the things that I will tell you why viewership matters, just like even say for instance why it matters that these teams have a hold on people, is because say for instance, like, dude, we had a tournament that Nintendo backed for Beacon back in, this was like what, 2019, right?
Which
Yeah, I know.
2018, I made a
Beacon-
2018. I made a very crummy blog for.
Yeah, 2018 Beacon. Sorry, I apologize. It's 2018 Beacon.
Long.
That was the one that Nintendo Versus posted our stuff for, and we had like a lot of backing for it. Let me just tell you the immense power of Dude, right? We had, I think up to that point, we were at like around like I think like 2,000 views or like 3,000 views or something like that. Literally, as soon as Dude, like people are just in chat, where's Dude? Where's Dude? How come Dude's not playing? Where's Dude? Where's Dude? And literally, as soon as Dude's team came up, we jumped, I believe it was like from like 3,000 to almost like 4,000 or 5,000 views, just because Dude was playing in the tournament. And as soon as Dude lost, he came in third place. But as soon as he lost, it jumps back down to like 4,000, 3,000 views. I don't think people understand how important it is for like teams. Like even when Team Olive came, you see like just everybody hopping on. When STDX came to, I believe it was Summer Splat, and you'll see that people like viewership, like it hangs on with people. Like teams, if you're able to market yourself better, it really does well for the community in itself. So that's kind of what I wanted to say. Dude has his heart in the right place when he's saying something like this. So I'm glad that he actually responded to me to get this out here. So any comments from you guys about what I just read?
You can go first.
Okay. Well, first of all, the meta discussion stuff, he was absolutely right about. I forgot about like that kind of entirely. I did a Twitch stream where I talked about the meta and fixing it, and it was just a super informal Twitch discussion with my chat, and I posted on my YouTube community. I'm like, I did a meta discussion on Twitch. Do you guys just want me to upload the VOD here? Because I was like, I don't think it'll be appealing YouTube content because it's just a Twitch stream highlight. And then people were like, yeah, I upload it and it has 6.3K views. It has outperformed some of my Splatoon 3 videos. And there's no script, there's no like major editing. It is literally just a highlighted Twitch stream where I talk about the meta with some gameplay of a top level scrim in the background. Like, that is like some of the most minimalistic effort to success ratio I've ever put, and it's because I talked about the damn metagame. So I've learned from that. Okay, people like meta discussion. The other stuff is like the tier list VODs. My top tiers list has like 7,500 views, and both of these videos are still getting views today, even though they're both like over a week old by now. So yeah, just wanted to roll back up. Meta discussion, great way to start. Definitely works a lot. But yeah, I totally agree on like building a brand and stuff and being recognized. It's part of like why things are as big. The main thing I want to do differently and still try to be a big channel like Dude is I want to put out more scrim and tournament VODs, because I think that's like, especially scrims, I think are the competitive content that's lacking in terms of big eyes from Dude and Wadsm, because they don't really upload many scrim content. And I want to try to get scrim content out there because I think scrims are super interesting, and sometimes they have some really hilarious stuff happening. So I'm still experimenting with different formats for how I want to market scrims and the types of games I want to highlight from scrims. It's something that's, I'll be honest, it's something that generally is on the lower end of views of my channel, but I really want to try to figure out how to get people interested in that, because there's still a good amount of people who do like scrims. It's just making them more appealing and finding which parts to highlight. And I want to get that part out there, because I think that's just the main part of comp content that's lacking is scrim VODs. And I think people would love to watch Top Team Scrim. Like, I will say FT Win again. So many people would love to see FT Win Scrim, for fuck's sake. Because they're the best team. Just be like 6x NA champion scrims. Like, holy shit, you will get views. I have no idea why they aren't doing it. Like, some people really, if you're tied to an identity, especially if you're tied to a team identity, people want to watch those teams play together too. I mostly want to try to do more content with Bocut, because Bocut Nation is fucking... I make the joke that I'm like, I'm the serious person and they're the three, like, jokers in the team. And it makes it really funny. Like, that kind of stuff could appeal for content. So basically, like, small note, I guess, I want to do more scrim content, and I want to try to make scrims more appealing and figure out what stuff is best to highlight from scrims from YouTube. So,
all right,
I want to do that for my channel to make it more unique.
Vic?
Be honest with you, I forgot kind of what I was going to say.
I should have let you go first.
It's okay.
We'll do that next time. It's all good. It's all good.
If it comes back, we can.
It was on Dude's comp. What Dude said, but if you remember, Chase, anything?
No, I don't have anything to really add to that.
No,
Besides,
you're fine. Don't worry. Don't worry.
It.
As I said, I was just more or less reading it. It was more just to make sure that it wasn't curving his words or anything like that. I just wanted to make sure people knew exactly what he meant. It was coming from a good place, and that's really it.
You know what? I actually do have one thing to say, and then I actually watching Chara's videos helped me kind of form this thought. But even when someone, you know how I was saying earlier, like if someone just uploading like a tournament highlight or a scrim highlight, like that's not really gonna bring in much views. But one thing that people could do to help with that, and Chara does this, is if you're uploading like a tournament or a scrim, in the beginning of the video, Chara does like a voiceover, and he actually tells the viewers what they're watching. Like it's not just the raw gameplay. He'll voice over and actually say like what the tournament is or who he's playing with or who he's scrimming. And I think that actually helps a lot because there's a lot of people who are going to click on the video and be like, oh, this is just Splatoon gameplay. I don't know what I'm watching. But even if you title it like that, it's a tournament, like it's not really going to sit with people. Like you need to actually explain what it is that they're watching. And I think Chara does a really good job with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was actually a dude recommendation to have tournaments start with a little like intro to it. So
Yeah,
I took that.
Yeah, that definitely works. Yeah.
All right. So my next question is basically, so content creation and the competitive Splatoon community, right? So just in general, what we're looking at right now, I already read off what dude had said about like what ideas we can have. But what can the community do to bridge the gap right now? Like, what are we looking at right now? What can we do? And we're gonna start with Vic with this one.
Please
Yes.
stop putting your montages and your videos
Wow.
and your highlights on Twitter only. Put them on YouTube, please.
Wow.
Please, there's so much good content that's on Twitter and it never goes anywhere. Like it does well for a couple of days, but Twitter is not a platform where stuff survives. You know how many funny, stupid things I've put on Twitter that I know I could have probably just put on YouTube for sillies, but I try my best to not upload videos like less than a few minutes long because my audience expects longer videos out of me. Like I should do the same too. I should just put anything that I put on Twitter and put it also on YouTube. Because Twitter does not have longevity.
Oh, it does not.
If you put your stuff on YouTube, it can get views later. You never know. Sometimes things randomly blow up like long after you put them up for no reason. I had a dumb video with like a hacker in it in Splatoon, and it didn't go anywhere for a long time because my channel was never really meant to go anywhere because all I did was like, you know, little uploads like I mentioned. It blew up sometime in like the winter of 2017 for no reason, like long after Splatoon 1 was done, so to speak. And when I like decided to start streaming in 2018, I was like, oh, I have like 140 subs? Where do these people come from? Because I didn't really check my YouTube very often. It wasn't my priority. I was busy with grad school. I was like, who are these? Who this? So I was like, well, I guess I can just stream now. And I rode that momentum, even though it wasn't like a crazy amount of momentum. Having a video with like a couple 10,000 views on the channel, you know, it don't hurt nobody, right?
It helps.
Yeah,
So-
it's still pretty helpful.
Really, really helps.
Like I got lucky with the momentum push at the start. And if I had just talked about it on Twitter, been like, haha, wow, I saw a hacker in my lobby. Some people would have been like, haha, wow, do you have any video of that? And I'd be like, wow, here, look. And I post it on Twitter and they say, wow, that's crazy. And then that's it. Put your stuff on YouTube. Even if you don't have a brand, if you don't have a plan, just put it there so it exists. You can create the brand later. You can change your thumbnails at any time. Remember that. Thumbnails aren't like a permanent thing.
Permanent thing, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yo, one funny thing was when you said the hacker in your lobby, I randomly put that video up like a year ago, like 2 years ago. I had a hacker in my lobby. Like it was during that time when like people were going crazy doing it. I thought my Raymond video, like I did a video about Raymond, right? And I thought he was like 6,000 views. I look back like the other day and I'm like, yo, why is my hacker video at almost 9,000 views? I put this out almost 2 years ago.
I'll be real with you.
You're
About
right.
a year ago, I reposted it because it had gotten blocked by Nintendo because they were like,
Seriously?
you know, it got blocked for copyright stuff. I was like, why? So I
they don't want
reposted it
people knowing
with
they're
like a
hackers.
face cam reaction video of me reacting to my own video to talk about it while I was playing. And that got some views, maybe helped.
Wow.
And also I know AlphaStar, I think, put a video recently where he saw a hacker too. So we'll trickle down.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Chase?
Okay, I'm really sorry, but what was the point that we're talking about again?
How
Not
can the
again.
community at this point? How can the community at this point bridge the gap? It's fine. Don't worry.
Okay, so I think one thing that for the competitive side, I think definitely the competitive YouTubers can collab more. I think that's one thing that we could do.
Yeah, absolutely
'Cause-
agree.
Yeah, because I was seeing some people. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But basically, what I'm just trying to say is that like people know me and Chara, but there's some other people who they don't know, like Shinex, for example. I see some like Chara because you made that community post on your YouTube talking about like how you plugged different underrated Splatuber Splatubers, and thank you for that, by the way. I really appreciate that.
No problem.
But I saw someone comment on your community post and say like, "Oh, I only know you and Chase, but I'm thankful that you plugged all these other ones that I could check out." And I think that if we collab with some of those other people, it'll spread the love a little more easily, you know?
Yeah, I think like promotion for even like Kiver and Brian are much bigger than I am, like at 6K and 13K. And then Dude and Wadsm, of course, even bigger. So like any promotion from those kind of channels or working with those channels would be extremely helpful, of course.
Definitely.
Okay.
Like personally, I'm the kind of person that like if people are like if they have like a group of 3 people and I am available, which isn't that's not a real thing. Like I'm more than happy to give my time. I've hopped into so many like league groups with people. I sometimes just will throw myself randomly onto friends' streams. I'll be like, hey, I'm hanging out, yeah. I do like random weapon PBs on a couple of friends' like Twitch streams too. Like it's hard to push people, but it's so worth it. Don't be afraid to reach out to people.
I will take that note in mind.
I 110% agree with you guys. That was actually going to be my next question about how like we can help each other grow, and that's probably one of the biggest things. I mean, I've noticed now, like before, I feel like a lot of people really weren't interacting with each other, but now it's like noticing that like people want to grow. So now people are interacting with each other even more. Like just say for instance, Chara trying to help me out by giving a shout out. And there's a lot more people doing that now. And I think that a lot more people need to like actually collab a lot more instead of maybe just playing solo, try to collab with other competitive players that you know. And it could just be you guys are leaguing and that's really it. And then you upload that like an edited version of that VOD, which Dude does when he was doing it with like, I think it was Mudcup, Milana, Barry, and him. And those videos do really well. So just I wanted to get you guys point on this one because I know you got to get going soon, Chara.
Yeah.
Should competitive like Splatoon look at other communities to try to grow, like looking at like Overwatch, Valorant, and like trying to like just copy the formula there and try to see what they do for like their guides and just literally do the same thing for Splatoon?
I think
what do you guys think about that?
I think the last thing I'll say, because I'm going to try to make this quick, is I actually had a great idea for that, and it like I haven't watched CarQ on Overwatch. I don't know if you know what that channel is. But they do this thing where they do like one tip for every hero, and they invite someone on, like a player of that hero. Like they brought on some dude for Pharah, or they bring someone for Ana, because Overwatch has a lot of heroes, and they give tips against it. I thought something similar for that for like either Dude's Tearing It Up series or Vic's Victionary series, where like maybe you bring on, if there's content creators who are really good at the weapon, you bring on that person, and maybe they'll like start out with the section giving like tips or options about the weapon, like a brief like 2-minute general tips video on how to use the weapon, and then it can cut back to like the usual games. So that way it's like I think that's especially good for Tearing It Up, because Tearing It Up is like supposed to be how to learn the weapon. So it's like you start out like Dude goes over his gear, here's someone who knows the weapon, gives some advice for a bit, and then you have Dude using it in solo and showing those tips. It like makes it even more of a guide while still not like, it only supplements that type of content. It doesn't take anything away, it just adds to it. And it's a good way to like show things off. I would recommend checking out CarQ's Tips for Every Hero series, though I don't think you can copy that format just because there's way more weapons in Splatoon than there are heroes in Overwatch.
Are you serious? What do you say? I mean, in all honesty, you just pick a structure of weapons and somebody that's good with it.
Yeah.
But that would make a killing. There's people asking all the time, who plays Brellas? How do I get good at Brellas? How do I get good at blasters? Even though you shouldn't, like, like people explained it many times. Like, I just
think that's a very simple, easy way to collab. Is like I don't know, like I don't think Dude has a Tearing It Up on Splat 2 Octobrush. I hate to use me for example, but he doesn't have a Tearing It Up with Octobrush, so I could talk about Octobrush for a bit. Or if he has like maybe he doesn't have one on Machine, so he invites Kyo to talk about Machine for a bit. Or Splash or T-Tech and invites on Kiver. Like, you can now add to the content and help promote someone while still just only adding to it. I think that's like a kind of cool idea. I would personally be up for these things. Just gonna put that out there. And I'm gonna do that myself. I'm not just saying it to get my own self promoted. Like, I am going to do a Charger video, and I'm gonna bring on Ice and have a ton of interview sections with Ice talking about Charger to try to do that sort of thing for myself. It'll be more just about like Charger balance, but it's like, hey, I'm gonna promote Ice here. Here's another player. People want Charger content, boom, here's somebody who does Charger content. Here's their thoughts on Charger, and it can supplement my video and bring another take to it. So I'm personally trying to do that myself as well.
Okay. All right. So I don't know if are you stepping out?
I can stay a bit longer, actually.
All right. No, we're good then. So,
probably like 10 minutes max, so.
All right, we're almost there. So, Chase, anything?
No, not really with this, no.
No? Vic?
You know, Chara, I think you were the person in the academy a long time ago that actually said yeah, Vic's Exploster Victionary is really nice, and that made me feel very good about myself.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
That is
people
me, yes.
do think they're useful. Like,
good.
I've always been thankful for that. That people weren't Chase, you were saying before oh, the competitive content hates when mid-level players make guides. Well, I was probably at a lower level than you were, as I'm assuming you're probably at least at my level or better than I am right now. When I made those guides, but they have a ton of reach. A number of them have I actually don't even know the numbers on them, and I'm not gonna look. But I know that they have a lot more numbers than a lot of probably better guides.
Yeah.
The guides existing helps other people to be curious about higher level guides. The guides that I made, they would take me 10 up hours to make, because I'd need I was very inefficient about them. I would get my footage, I would write my script, I would cut the footage down to fit the script, and then I would pop it out. And that's kind of just how I operated. And I was like, wow, cool guides. But then when I got a real job, TM, I couldn't handle that anymore, because making a 10-hour guide.
Yeah, I feel that. I've been taking forever to get my own out.
It set itself aflame, unfortunately. But I'm very happy that other people have picked that up. And if there's a day where my guides aren't the ones that come up when people search for the weapons, that's fine with me. I want competition. I think people are scared to make things that already exist, like guides. But they shouldn't be. The more perspectives we have, the better.
Yeah,
my guides were perspective videos, and I haven't made a single one since late 2019. Please make guides. It's okay.
I'm working on a Tetra Dually guide right now, but that's not gonna be out for 4 months probably.
That's valid. And when you make it, it'll be a labor of love, and people will value it.
100. I agree, Vic. This is why I brought you on. I don't think people understand. This is exactly why I brought Vic on. But I just wanted to say not one last thing, but the last thing about this comment. I remember one time I was saying Kipper's YouTube videos are kind of exactly what I was talking about when looking at other communities. I remember one time I had talked to him about what are his thoughts in game, and he did a video on that. He put down what he was thinking at that point in time. I believe he still does things like that currently. But those are things that people do all the time in other communities. Again, in Overwatch, I used to watch thousands of videos of dudes just talking about yeah, I saw this guy here at this point, so I did this, that, and the third. There are a lot of people that would love to see that technical side of the game from a person that is really good. So don't think that grinding solo is just a waste of time. You literally could just give your opinion on why you did that move. I think Pangit also used to do the same thing. I can't remember, but I think he did also.
Yeah, he did. He had text guides, kind of just text thoughts. He didn't even have to talk for them.
Last question, because I know that we've been going for a little bit now. Last question. So I want to just from Chara, you can start. If you got to dip out, just leave the call. But
go ahead.
What are your hopes for your content in Splatoon 3?
My hopes is just to spread competitive content to more people, and I just really want to get more people to be able to check out comp and get more comp content out there. So my goal is more just, I want to grow my comp content. I want more people to check out more of the competitive scene. So if I can help that, that's my end goal.
All right. Chase?
For me, I just want to keep, this is going to sound kind of like a lame answer, but I just want to keep making well-edited videos that make me happy, because I'm someone who, when I'm editing my videos and I watch it back, it just brings me so much joy, And I'm assuming you guys like that too, but I just want that to keep happening. I don't want to get to the point where I'm making videos that I don't actually enjoy making. I would never want that. So I'm hoping that never happens. But with Splatoon 3 coming out and stuff, I don't think that's gonna happen. And then I just want to keep spreading that dually love. It's a little underused right now, but you know what? I want people to use them more. Negus, I know you're gonna hate me for that, but still, I'm
MPU's in the game, so it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Vic?
I guess I want to make sure I do what I can to make sure people stay just in the community, man. Like, a lot of what I do is to keep people excited about the game. Like, I take something as simple as recently I made a video where I was just having fun in one of my friends' lobbies playing, like, Double Bomb Kensaluna, because, like, it's a kit that's always existed, but, like, nobody talks about it. People don't take advantage of Double Bomb outside of, like, Double Bomb Junior on YouTube, I feel like. Like, I mean, I'm to blame on this too. I have been like, haha, yeah, custom junior, throw 4 bomb, win turf war. But like, explaining to other people that it can work on other weapons, even if it's just through comedy, can make people be like, hey, maybe I should try this sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's about keeping people excited.
Excited, yes, exactly. I 100% agree. I was just gonna say the biggest thing for me at this point right now is just trying to stay consistent. I have a hard problem with like staying consistent a lot of times. Twitch streaming is easy. YouTube is hard to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Streaming is just in general is just so easy. I'm not trying to act like it's like, the easiest thing on the planet, but like turning things on and talking to people on a daily basis is easy. Sometimes coming up with a video and you just sit at your mic for hours and you're just like, yo, what am I gonna do? So really for me, it's just like trying to stay consistent. Like I always have topics to talk about, but I'm just trying to stay consistent. So just to bring this down, thank you everybody. I really do appreciate you guys doing this and spreading some like wealth knowledge with us. I think that this actually was a very good conversation in general. Is there anything you guys want to leave off before we leave? Vic?
I don't know. I guess
shout yourself out basically.
Oh, well, I make the funnies. I have a good time. I do like the only time I really talk about comp is when I'm like streaming my own private battle streams, because then when people ask me questions, I'll just give them knowledge based on what I know, because that's the only place that I can. Like, that doesn't become videos, but if people ask me like, hey Vic, do you have any tips? That's usually when I give like tips. So I mean, if you want to ask me more serious questions, catch me on one of my streams and I'll probably ramble on the spot. I'll do it, bet.
Cool. Char?
Yeah, not much else. Just yeah, thank you.
Shout yourself out.
Yeah. You can find me at ProChara on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. No spaces or underscores.
All right, Chase?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Chase Space 247. Again, I just make content mainly surrounding dualies, the weapon class. So if you like dualies, please check me out. And you can find me on Twitter at Chase_247_.
All right, thank you, man. I appreciate it. All right. I'm going to catch you guys later. Thank you for watching the Negus' Corner, and everybody have a great day.